Mr. Kejriwal says, give me another term. I want to clean up the Yamuna. I want to fix the infrastructure. I was jailed. My leaders were jailed. Give me another term to do what I promised.
You know, Mr. Modi has personalized politics in Delhi too. But who are the leaders against Arvind Kejriwal? Both the Congress and the BJP don't have any political leader of the stature of Arvind Kejriwal who could act as a chief ministerial candidate. There's one thing about Kejriwal. He can reinvent himself again and again, and he can play the game. His critics say, you know, he's actually a B team of the BJP, which is not correct, but he has been going hammer and tongs at Modi and the BJP.
Where is the Congress in all of this? For a party that ruled 3 terms. So are we going to now look at Delhi as a state, as a union territory that has these eras? It had the BJP era, Madan Lal Khurana, Sahib Singh Verma era. The BJP had the strongest footing. You had the Congress era. Is it the AAP era now? Can the AAP encash the sympathy factor anymore? Hello and welcome. I'm Afrida Rahman Ali here in the FPJ studio, and with me is Paranjoy Guha Thakurta, who is a well-known author, columnist, a sharp observer of Indian politics and economics.
Thank you,
Great
Afrida.
to have you with us.
Thank you, Afrida.
Thank you for coming.
So
let's
on your
begin
program. Yes, please go
with
on.
the Delhi elections, because I know that you have a good grip over what's going on right now.
That I'm not so sure about.
I want to ask you the sharp rhetoric that we are watching now. Mr. Kejriwal says, give me another term. I want to clean up the Yamuna. I want to fix the infrastructure. I was jailed. My leaders were jailed. Our processes were derailed time and again. We were hindered. Give me another term to do what I promised. What is more convincing, that or BJP's allegation that here are 2 terms that this man got and this is the city you live in?
In fact, 11 years,
Yeah.
more than 10 years, because he was also chief minister for a brief period of time in 2013-14. Let's break down your question into different parts. To what extent would anti-incumbency sentiments work against the Aam Aadmi Party and the former chief minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal? Yes, there would be anti-incumbency sentiments. How strong would they be? That's a difficult question to answer. We'll come to that step by step. The Bharatiya Janata Party. You must remember that for decades, when the Congress was in power in the center, the Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP, was in power in Delhi. Now, the Delhi Assembly is a very peculiar animal, because it is in the national capital. The legislative assembly, and the legislators don't have the powers that other legislators have, other Vidhan Sabha, the Vidhayaks have. The Ministry of Home Affairs, in particular, and several other departments, they are run by the government of India. Law and order is not controlled by the state.
It's under MHA.
More importantly, the lieutenant governor is the super boss. And what we have recently seen is that the lieutenant governor has not just been acting as an agent of the government in New Delhi, that is, this is Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, but that he has almost emerged as an authority, as a power center on his own, shooting down schemes, programs of the state government.
So there is merit in what Kejriwal says, that we are hindered, that
this is not
there
new.
are obstacles
This
created.
even Sheila Dikshit used to say, this is an old problem. But I don't think the LG has acted in such a high-handed manner as he has in the recent past, with the full knowledge and concurrence and approval of the government of India, Mr. Modi's government. Now, you could argue, as the BJP does, that if you have the so-called double-engine double-engine sarkar, then that'll be good for Delhi.
Yeah.
Because you have the same party in power at the center as well in the states. So various programs, including the cleaning up the Yamuna, including pollution, etc., would be better handled. But you must remember something. Mr. Kejriwal is one politician who has outsmarted the Bharatiya Janata Party and Mr. Modi in particular over and over again. Let me briefly recount what happened. If you will recall,
And that is not going down well with the BJP. That's why a lot of analysts are calling it the K code and the Kejriwal factor, K factor.
no, we'll come to what Ashutosh said in the Free Press Journal in his column. He wrote that the BJP has still not been able to use his language, decode Kejriwal. And they often seem to be at a bit of a loss how to handle him. Now, please understand two or three very, very significant things. This time around, in the run-up to the assembly elections, we've seen national leaders campaign. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath. But their campaigning has been almost desultory. Naam ke vaste, you have to campaign, therefore you campaign. And you find that they are kind of just making the moves. On the other hand, Arvind Kejriwal, having come out of jail, having relinquished the post of Chief Minister, has been going hammer and tongs. He's been hitting the roads, he's been hitting the streets, unlike the others. One thing that is working in his favor, and this, Mr. Modi has personalized politics in Delhi too. But who are the leaders against Arvind Kejriwal? I mean, in the BJP, you have people like Sahib Singh Varma, the late Sahib Singh Varma's son, Pravesh Verma. You have former member of parliament, Ramesh Bidhuri. But they are known more for their hate speech, for their absolutely rabble-rousing techniques.
So you're saying the BJP's campaign has not been as emphatic as the AAP? So far, we were talking about the Congress. You're saying the BJP's campaign also is lackluster.
I'm saying both the Congress and the BJP don't have any political leader of the stature of Arvind Kejriwal who could act as a chief ministerial candidate. In the BJP, as I mentioned, Pravesh Verma, Ramesh Bidhuri, they are known more for their rabble-rousing and their hate speech against Muslims. On the Congress side, you have an Ajay Makhair and you have Sandeep Dixit. But Sandeep Dixit is not a patch on his mother, who was, before Kejriwal, the longest serving Chief Minister of Delhi. She also complained about the powers of the centre, not giving her enough leeway to work. But I think people are still nostalgic about what Sheila Dixit did to Delhi and the modernization.
So local leadership, that's the point you're raising. That if you compare point by point and names to names, AAP is stronger. They have enough number of leaders
do believe
who have that resonance with public.
All these allegations of corruption, the liquor scandal. Suddenly, the Controller and Auditor General of India, which has been sleeping half the time and half the reports don't come out on time, suddenly they find,
Leaks.
that report about the construction of the Chief Minister's house, and he's vacated it. And now the point is, every allegation that has been against him, this is why the BJP is worried about him, even scared, because he turns it to his advantage. The very fact that he was incarcerated for a fairly long period of time. He was jailed. He was jailed for 79 days. He came out in between. He campaigned for the Lok Sabha elections and then he relinquished the post on the 21st of September 2024. And Atishi became his the chief ministerial face. You must also remember, it was not just Arvind Kejriwal. So it was Satyendra Jain, the health minister, the deputy chief minister, Manish Sisodia, the Rajya Sabha member of parliament, Sanjay Singh, all of them, I believe by actually putting them behind bars, it might just backfire against the BJP.
Why didn't it backfire in Lok Sabha? Why? It's because, this is very interesting. The same logic does not apply. So the voter is acting very smartly and choosing irrespective of these things.
The voter is very clear that in the Lok Sabha elections, it's a different set of issues. And they vote for the incumbent government, the ruling party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, Mr. Modi. But when it comes to the Vidhan Sabha election, the vote this is what has...
Will the pattern change this time, Paranjoy? That is the question.
This is a difficult question.
Because look at the numbers.
I'll come to...
67-3, 62-8.
Yes, absolutely correct.
That is the level
2020,
of mandate.
62-8.
Yeah.
2015, 67-3. But remember, 2013,
Decisive mandate in favor of Kejriwal. Last 2 terms.
2013, you had a hung assembly. The Aam Aadmi Party got 28. The BJP got more, 4 more, but they were nowhere near the halfway mark.
Yeah.
And they said, we are not going to form the government. The Aam Aadmi Party struck an alliance, temporary even it will be, with the Congress Party and ruled for a short while. Then again, Arvind Kejriwal hit the road. Please understand, there's one thing about Kejriwal. He can reinvent himself again and again, and he can play the game the BJP does.
He plays the game in the assembly. In Lok Sabha, it's 7-on-7 for BJP. I mean, they contested 7, got all 7.
But the question is,
so there is a dichotomy there.
The people of Delhi are, I would say, politically aware and very aware. Now, you look what happened. See, so-called soft Hindutva card. His critics say, he's actually a B team of the BJP, which is not correct, because he has been going hammer and tongs at Modi and the BJP. Yet, he supported the writing down of Article 370 on the status of Kashmir. Shaheen Bagh, he didn't visit that once. In Northeast Delhi, when the Hindu-Muslim riots took place in 2020, his supporters were there, but he didn't go. He can say, I can recite, I can by heart the Hanuman Chalisa as well as. So at one level, he says, I can play your game, but I'm against you. This is confounding the Bharatiya Janata Party and Modi in particular. Because he is okay, like all politicians, he's an opportunist. But his stance is that it's not on ideological issues. He can posture. Very well he can posture, but he slogs. He slogs harder than them. And I'll tell you, that sympathy factor works. What has he done which could help him? Education, electricity, and the same set of promises that everywhere, including in Maharashtra, people make electricity, free electricity, free water. And remember, the 1,000 rupee scheme for women. Okay, he's given free bus rides for women. That he says is going to be enhanced to 2.1 thousand. And the fact that the LG, the Lieutenant Governor, tried to stop it is going to help the Aam Aadmi Party. Here was I was giving these benefits to the women.
There's one question in this I want to ask you. The liquor scam issue was played up by the BJP, and the corruption angle, of course, was projected against the Aam Aadmi Party. Can you encash it again and again? To my mind, that issue perhaps has run by its expiry date. What about the Sheesh Mahal issue? Can they again hammer it over and over again?
They're trying very hard. But when you compare the so-called Sheesh Mahal to what Mr. Modi is doing, in so-called Lok Kalyan Marg for his own, for the Prime Minister's residence, I don't think people are such fools, and certainly not the people of Delhi.
A lot of people, let me tell you, a lot of people are buying into it. They are saying, Aam Aadmi बोल के 25,000 का jacket पहना हुआ है Gant का. कल भी आया था, मतलब it was there.
But that is what the BJP would like you to believe. Arvind Kejriwal, look at the way he dresses, look at the way he walks, his muffler, his coat.
Not any longer. No. He was wearing a very high-value branded jacket.
That's what you think. One second. Was it a branded jacket? How do you know it was a branded?
I'm saying
do you know whether it was bought in Sarojini Nagar or not? No, one second. I'm trying to make a point. Now, the BJP is trying very hard to say that Arvind Kejriwal is no different from any other politician. He likes luxury. He's like any other opportunistic politician. But when it comes from Mr. Modi, I don't know how much ice it will cut. What impact it will have on the ordinary voter. See, the liquor scam. You tried very hard. Yes, okay, it's gone by its expiry date. How come the Controller, Editor, or Auditor General's report gets leaked? All I'm trying to say, you're painting him out to be a corrupt man. Now, the point is, the ordinary person says all politicians are corrupt. But they distinguish between the corrupt and the efficient. Let's assume they think that corruption, he's corrupt. But he's also efficient. And he's provided them actual services on the ground. Remember that. Delhi schools, forget the hype, forget the advertising. They're doing better than the public schools or the government-run schools in many parts of the country. And he is seen to be pro-poor. And you must understand, the voter of Delhi knows these are the assembly elections. They're not voting for the Lok Sabha
The
election.
same middle class are voting for the BJP. So
Excuse me?
they are not loyalists.
So
they are not,
I agree with
they
you.
are not dyed-in-the-wool AAP voters. But
Look.
I understand what you're saying, that they're not convinced that the corruption factor should be the only one that should take the AAP
So
down,
what
even
hap-
if there is an element
no,
of truth in
I
it.
will agree with you up to a point. Yes. I would say that the Aam Aadmi Party has lost a certain amount of support from the middle classes. The middle classes who were thought that, here was a guy who was holding the high moral ground and he was somebody they supported. That, okay, he's lost that image gradually. But the point is, the BJP has not been able to counter it. So even if you assume that a section of the middle class does not vote for him, who will they vote for? They'll vote for the Congress. Will that help the BJP? No. Will the Congress be able to cut into the votes of the Aam Aadmi Party? It may. The short point, if I can, I can sort of summarize my views. What are the opinion polls saying? I don't trust the opinion polls. You saw where they got wrong. The Satta Bazaar, what are they saying? Do you trust the Satta Bazaar? 400 par, what happened to 400 par, 300?
Yeah, but they still have come out with figures that give AAP a small edge over the BJP.
I will say that if you ask me, and you can, I will eat my words on the 8th of February when the results come out.
Hold you to it, yeah.
Sure, you can hold me. But the point is, I think that it's the edges with the Aam Aadmi Party. But as I say, I'm sort of hedging my bets.
Yeah.
But what is likely to happen is that his victory will be by a far lower margin.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a kind of 60-8 or a 67-3.
That's not going to
Yeah.
So this is a repetition of what happened with the Modi government at the center. They got a third term, but they were much depleted. So you're saying
they came way below the halfway mark.
Yeah.
The Lok Sabha.
So your prediction is similar for the AAP. They may have had two solid terms and solid mandates.
My expectation, once again, I may be wrong. You can hold me to it. You get back to me on the 8th of February.
Yes,
but as of now, my expectation is that AAP would return to power, but with a thinner majority. But wait.
So where is the debt coming from? Because we discussed middle class.
The middle class.
I also want to bring two other M's, the three M's: middle class, Mahila, and Muslim vote.
I think the Mahilas would with them. The Muslims, maybe a section might migrate to the Congress. But by and large, the Aam Aadmi Party and Kejriwal has always taken the Muslim vote for granted. Remember the Congress...
As if they're the default choice for the Muslims.
Yes. And therefore,
Congress unlikely to win, they will not vote for BJP, so default choice. Even if he didn't go to Shaheen Bagh.
Therefore, he didn't go to Shaheen Bagh. Therefore, he welcomed the writing down of Article 270.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't go after the riots in early 2020. But here, where would the Muslim go? And Delhi, the proportion of Muslims in Delhi is higher than the all India proportion, which is about 14%. As it's true for all urban areas. Most of the urban areas, the Muslim population is higher. Of course, they are ghettoized, etc. So I think, where will the Muslims go? So once again, I return to that point, that given the complexity of the issues, given the fact that there are no faceless chief ministerial candidates, both the BJP side or the Congress side. Can Ajay Maken become the chief minister? Can Sheila Dikshit's son, Sandeep Dikshit, become the chief minister?
No, that is a point I've taken.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a couple of concluding questions. One is, where is the Congress in all of this? For a party that ruled 3 terms. So are we going to now look at Delhi as a state, as a union territory that has these eras? It had the BJP era, Madan Lal Khurana, Sahib Singh Verma era. The BJP had the strongest footing. You had the Congress era. Is it the AAP era now?
See, the Congress will gain. But the Congress will gain much more in the Lok Sabha elections. There it's more bipolar. AAP doesn't matter. There is BJP versus the Congress. When it comes to the Vidhan Sabha elections, people remember what Sheila Dikshit did. And she did, there is a certain amount of recognition that yes, she did some things. But everybody's moved on. It's a younger population. Delhi is a cosmopolitan population. They know they are voting. Better education, free electricity, free water, not just free bus rides, money to women. All of these would matter much more, as it has in several parts of the country.
But does it? Because
and the sympathy factor.
Does
Okay?
it? Yeah.
I mean, what happened?
But that's
in
what I was
Jharkhand?
asking you. Can the AAP encash the sympathy factor anymore? The liquor policy case, sympathy factor, the jailed leaders' sympathy factor, that has been encashed, isn't it?
I don't know.
Not successfully,
I'm
maybe in
not
Lok
so
Sabha.
sure. I mean,
Can they continue
No,
to
one
draw
second.
from it? Is my
Afrida,
question.
how long did it take for Hemant Soren to encash it? I mean, these are we sitting in comfort, we pretending to be political pundits. We none of us know.
No, yeah.
I mean, there will be a section of people who voted for the BJP in the Lok Sabha elections who will vote for the Aam Aadmi Party. It's always been that way. That's the way it's been in the last 3 elections.
Yeah.
And if it happens again, then Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party would have that edge. But once again, you have to wait till the 8th of February.
Thank you so much, Paranjoy,
Thank
for
you,
joining
Afrida.
us. I think the big takeaway from what Paranjoy Guha Thakurta tells us today is that issues on one hand, but you do have this entire pattern that is in front of us of the local leadership. Those are the examples that we heard today about how the AAP has certain leaders who are more charismatic, maybe resonates better, Kejriwal being chief among them, whereas the Congress and the BJP does not have those names. They had a time under the sun when Sheila Dikshit was there or Madan Lal Khurana was there. Now Aam Aadmi Party has those names and faces, so that could give them an edge. All things considered, all issues considered. I leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paranjoy, for joining us.